helping you put the big P in profession. Here's our Career Sherpa, Julie Bauke.
Real quick career checkup segment here as we do on Wednesday mornings with Sloaney, 700 WLW. Now the dark days begin. This is the beginning of the end, Julie Bauke, because I'm driving in this morning, as you probably were, and everyone listening and going, wow, it's past Labor Day. We're looking at football. The leaves are changing. The kids are back at school. Vacations are over. And now it's taking longer for me to see the sunshine, which means to just a few short weeks we'll be in the darkness of winter here in Cincinnati. We won't see the sun until opening day 2020, where the sun will come up later and later. We'll spend more time in darkness and depression. It's a problem. How do I get through that as a worker, especially if I hate my job?
You've just sent me into a dark spiral just by that description of my life.
Gray skies, cold but not freezing, salt stained on the pavement, no leaves on the tree. It's like a post-apocalyptic kind of zombie land.
Big heavy sigh.
Right?
Yeah, it's so many of us. It's like a third of American adults take some sort of vacation time in August, whether it's to get the kids back to school or just get a last hurrah in of summer. But going from that to, okay, let's see, my next holiday is Thanksgiving, and looking at that and saying, how do I get from here to there when we know where the weather's headed?
Right.
It's definitely a prescription for being a shall
The
we say,
problem is
sad.
this: it's vacation spacing, Julie Bauke. If you think about it, we have the definitive beginning, middle, and end of summer. In Memorial Day, the green flag goes up on summer. July 4th is midsummer, and then Labor Day ends the summer. Right? We have let's start the first of the year. Right? New Year's Eve, Christmas break, Christmas holidays are done. You go, okay, well, I'll settle it in. You know, you got a little Super Bowl to look forward to. Probably not Valentine's Day, but you got a bunch of little holidays in there. Martin Luther King Day, President's Day. So you got some 3-day weekends built in, and then the cycle returns, of course, in May when now it's vacation season again. But here's the problem. This is what our problem is, Julie Bauke, that we have to solve is between early September now, September 1st in this case, and all the way until Thanksgiving, there's nothing. There's not a damn thing to hang our hat on, is there, holiday-wise? You've got almost all of September and all of October and most of November before you get another break. I say this, if I were elected president, when I'm president, I'm going to put a good 4-day holiday in there somewhere in October.
Well, some schools have like a fall break. Some colleges and schools actually do have like an October fall break, and I'm not sure what was behind that, but maybe that has something to do with it.
When I'm elected president, Julie Bauke, I'm going to make Halloween a 4-day weekend.
I think we're going to have, boy, if you get elected.
I get elected just on that going, hey, this guy's an idiot, but he's making a lot of sense right now. You're right. We're in the dark days now between Labor Day and Thanksgiving. There's not jack.
Well, when it seems like every year, it seems like from Memorial Day to Labor Day, it goes so fast. And I think this year it's because we had June was kind of it was early. We didn't get a lot of really warm days in June, so it almost didn't feel like summer even started until July.
Correct.
So we probably are walking around right now feeling cheated. Mm-hmm. And then you've got that transition back into ugh. And one of us, not me, had a birthday yesterday, and so you might be feeling a little bit let down after all the fancy partying you did last night as well. So
I took the family out to dinner. We went out to dinner. It's birthday dinner. It's also my daughter's birthday too. So for the last 22 years, wow. It's not been my birthday. It's my daughter's birthday. But went out birthday, and I worked most of the day. Didn't got a couple of birthday greetings on Facebook, which I appreciate. People like yourself texting me, and that's wonderful. And then I went to dinner, and I paid for it.
You paid for the privilege.
I paid for the privilege of my own birthday.
You feel let down today because...
No, I feel like I need a new family because my family's a bunch of deadbeats. I need a new family.
Okay.
Going family shopping.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we can put that out there. We can audition some people who are interested.
Correct. Yes, I'm going to start taking applications for a new family.
So what we're saying is this feeling like this, it's normal. Everybody feels like that. And we have to have something to look forward to. So between now and Thanksgiving, how about planning a 3-day weekend? Not you and I, of course, but planning a 3-day weekend to do something
Well, I am
fun.
taking applications.
Yeah. maybe you can come along on people's family vacation. It's like a +1 sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm auditioning. I'm demoing this.
Yeah, but we need something to look forward to. And I don't care how great your life is every day. If it is great every day, that transition period from vacation, where you really, in a lot of cases, have a lot of flexibility in how you wake up and what you do during the day, back to a rigid schedule, is difficult for everybody. And then sometimes vacation and holidays don't live up to the expectations we had for them. We're like, oh, I thought that was going to be a lot more fun than it was. Right. The anticipation was so great, and the reality didn't live up to it. And so then we deal with that when we're trying to transition back into work. And so, as I always say, if your job is the one, if you have 3 weeks vacation a year, and you're living those 49 weeks just to get those 3 weeks off, and the other 49 weeks you're miserable, it's time to do something about it. That's not a way to live.
Yeah, I agree. What can you do about it, though? That's the question.
Change jobs. Figure out something that is going to make you happy. I hear the excuses I hear about people who are, I'll talk to people who say, my soul dies a little bit every day. And I'll be like, well, let's talk about you change jobs. No, I don't know. I could make a lot of money. Like, wow. Is it worth it? I cry.
That's why they got to pay you a lot of money, because the job sucks, right?
And I totally get you got to pay the bills. But stepping back and saying, what do I really need to be happy? What could I live without? What could I cut back on? And what would I get mentally, physically, spiritually, relationally, by having a job that didn't suck my soul every day? There's a cost to that, and you have to decide what it's worth. And if you make that decision to have a big title and make lots of money, or do a job that makes you sick, we just got a request for coaching from someone who said, I have a knot in my stomach on Saturday and Sunday because I know Monday's around the corner. So I work all week to get to Friday night, Saturday, but the gut, the pit, the misery starts on Saturday. But to all the outsiders, it looks like I have a great job and a great life.
The cone of uncertainty.
It's sad.
It really is. The thing, it's almost like I'm having flashbacks when a kid. It's like, you got a big test or a paper coming up on Monday, and it's like you didn't study your day. It's like, oh, God, you're just dreading it.
Yeah, exactly. And we just convince ourselves that this is all there is. And it just makes me so sad, because it isn't. I don't care who you are. This isn't all there is. Do you have to invest time and energy and resources to figure it out? You do. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I don't have time. Sure you do. It's one of the lies we tell ourselves. And I think after Labor Day is a good time to really reflect and say, okay, I got a long stretch here. Is this really where I want to be a year from today? Or even in January, when the calendar page turns, is this really where I want to be? And if not, what am I willing to do about it?
Yeah, make some changes on the side, but you got to carve time out. Is it easier for people typically, Julie, when you coach folks that are going through what we're talking about, and that is it's the post-Labor Day blues right now, because, weather is, at least before, it's like, man, I get out of here, I can go golf, and I go for a walk, go for a run, take the dogs, barbecue, and now you're going to be stuck inside for the next 6 months, right? Or more, in the case may be, and now you're really depressed because there's no time off between now and Thanksgiving, generally speaking. A lot of people get on the phone. Yeah. So how do you, all right, you address that whole issue, but how do you break the cycle? How do you snap out of it to be able to do something, to simply take advantage of an opportunity, or simply just to go, listen, I got to make a change here? It's easier said than done.
It is. And I've had this business for 12 years, but I've been in this kind of work for over 20 years. And September, October are always our busiest months. And I used to think, wow, that'll probably be January, February, New Year's resolutions, et cetera. But it really is September, October, and that's really, we've really started to see a spike in people reaching out. And I think it's because of what we've been talking about. So our model is think, plan, execute. And so the think and plan part, no good job search to start without a plan and some real thought about what you want the outcome to be. And that can be done in the evenings, on the weekends. And so you can start putting your plan in place for figuring out what it is that you want to do, how you want to work differently, how you want your life to be different. There's a lot of, I think those are really big questions, and people get really afraid of those questions because they're not quite sure what that answer is going to be and what that's going to mean for their lives. But you have to start somewhere and start to imagine what something else might look like and then put together a plan to get it. And that's what we help people with, is those two pieces. And then when you're ready to execute, it might not be right now. It might be in January. It might be when Junior goes back to school next year. But you've got to figure out what it is before you have any hope of getting it. And that's those big questions that no one ever taught us how to handle or wrestle down. And then we start with no one will ever hire me. It's no use. It's too hard. I can't do it. I think it's those natural human responses when we start to think about doing something that's really big and daunting. And you don't want to be 60 years old and look back and say, wow, I wasted 35 years. That's to me what is truly sad.
Well, and not only that, how many years you shave off your life by being miserable?
Yeah.
Right? The stress and everything else. It's like, what's the point of
miserable.
retaring at 60, 62 and go, I'm out of here, I'm done, and then you fall over dead at 65 because the stress has worn you out for the last 20 years.
Yeah, that's really the old model, but a lot of us, especially boomers, we entered the workforce with that model being the normal. The people who were older than us, that's what they did. The people who, if our parents are still alive, that's the kind of advice they gave us. Get on with a good company and hang on as long as you can. And we're still carrying traces around of that mentally, even though all the indicators in the world, in the economy and the market and what we see around us tells us that that's not the definition of job security. But we still somehow think a big company equals job security because that was ingrained in us when we were younger. The younger people look at us and say, "Are you crazy?" They might be a little too jump happy, but I think they have more of the right idea sometimes than boomers do.
You think they're jump happy? I just think it's the model that they've seen their parents go through. Is it, why would I try to be loyal for a company that doesn't respect me, treats me like crap? I don't like my job. I don't like what I do. I don't like who I work for at any level. And guess what? As soon as the economy contracts, they're the first one out the door because they make the most money. If you're a young person and don't learn from that and continue to do what your parents did, how does that make you wrong?
So it doesn't. But there is, I have seen and talked to some young people who the first time somebody looks at them cross-eyed, they jump. Instead of really thinking about, what am I learning here? What else could I do here to help build my skills? How can I maximize where I am until the time that I really figure out what's next? The worst thing you can do is just keep jumping, once a year, jump.
I get it, yeah.
Because eventually, nobody's going to hire you because they know once they get you trained, you're going to leave. So there has to be that balance between understanding when things aren't fixable, where you are, A, B, figure out what else you want or what you want more of, and then put together a plan to get it. And sometimes you have to suck it up a little bit until you get that figured out. But once you know that you're on a path to getting more of what you want and what is right for you, there's something about that you get a spring in your step because you're taking action instead of just standing and spinning with no hope of change in the foreseeable future. So taking any sort of action generally makes life a little more bearable because there's an outcome you're working toward.
Julie Bauke, our career Sherpa on the Scott Sloan Show on News Radio 700 WLW on the AcuteHearingCenters.com hotline. We're talking. It's a really important thing, too, because this time of year, it's the start of the Great Depression, if you will, between now and maybe first of the year's a little bit of break. And then I'm back in January, February, March, and then I'm back in the summer again. Well, this is if your career, if you don't like what you're doing for a living, and look at it as a job more than a career too, or don't like who you're working for, you're in for the longest, most miserable stretch. And talking to doctors too, psychologists, they said this is the worst time for depression because people realize they're in for, that they're going to be in for the long haul because the weather's turning. You're not many opportunities to get outside, and if you're funky in that kind of weather, it's going to be compounded by the fact your job. It's got to be the number one stressor. That I guess money and relationship, but career's up there.
It sure is. Yeah, job loss. It's like the big three life stressors: death of spouse, divorce, and job loss. Or I would say being in a job that you wish you'd lose because you're so darn miserable, and is right up there too. I mean that is no way to live. And if you're sitting there on Sunday saying, "Oh dear God, 5-6 days until my next weekend or my next holiday," challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. Why is that okay with you? It shouldn't be.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, I guess. I mean, you're sitting around like Kevin Spacey just trying to get fired.
Don't do that.
That's not interesting. And seriously, in that American Beauty, it largely does. There's a lot of issues in there. But what about the career thing? I think it's a lot of people just like, I'm going through the motions, right? I'm like a zombie in my own body.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden someone says, yeah, don't come back on Monday. And now we're all indignant. Well, I'm so loyal. But really, I mean, have you been just showing up every day? Is certainly no guarantee that you're going to keep your job. And, have you really been producing? Have you really been fulfilling what's expected of you? Or have you decided that I hate this job, so I'm not going to try? If that's your plan, that's a really bad plan, because somebody else is going to take the control out of your hands and is going to show you the door. Now try to get back on your feet and figure it out when you have no paycheck coming in.
Unless you're really good, Julie, about phoning it in and then using your job to basically fund your new gig, your side gig. It's like, man, I got some stuff going on, but I'm going to phone it in and make them fire me. Now that's genius.
I cannot agree with that.
That's genius. Tell me what's wrong with that plan. It's like, if I quit, I don't get anything, but if I get fired, aha.
Well, maybe. I mean, you may just get shown the door. And
no. You get once you hit a certain age, you get paid because they don't want the lawsuit.
Not always. Well, that can be, but it's not generally very much. If you're getting fired because like not doing your job, you might get a couple weeks, but that's about it. I mean, that goes in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Hey, Julie.
I do not condone that.
Yeah. Hey, Julie, here, watch this. Hold my beer.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Julie Bauke, our Career Sherpa. She is the goddess of jobs, and you can go and check her out. The Bauke, B-A-U-K, thebaukegroup.com does job coaching, career consulting. And joins us on Wednesdays, talk about your career, or lack thereof, anyway.
Your sucky career.
We'll tell you. Next week, I'm going to do the segment about how to job the man, how to rip the man off blind at work, and he'll never know about it. How about that?
Yeah,
That's a great topic.
I will be on that one.
All right, Jill. Thanks again. I'll talk to you next week.
Okay,
Have
bye.
a great week.